Real type.
Two, yeah, three.
I hear you whispering.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Angie Dover, your Georgia PTA Reflections Chair. And I want to thank you all for joining me this evening for this reflections information slash question and answer Zoom meeting. I chose this evening to use my son's computer because it's faster. So that's why you can't see me. He does not have a camera on this one. Anyway, but I'm going to ask you to unmute yourselves so that you can just pipe in with a question whenever you have one, and just let me know like what your concerns are right now. Or you can also type it on the chat if you would rather. Yes. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. There's somebody.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yay, people are talking. Okay, I thought I was not doing something right because I'm not fabulous with this. So any immediate questions, just what you've been wondering about or thinking about?
No, not really.
Okay, all righty. Any questions?
Nope, I just took this on, so I have no idea what I'm even doing. So it's all new to me.
Okay, that's Emily.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So then what I'm going to do, I will just start going over the different forms and the different parts of the program. And then if you have a question about something, you can let me know. And I'm going to do it kind of quickly so that then
that's fine. I can go back over.
Go to the website and show you the website and where stuff is on the website. So that way, if you have questions about that, you can find it.
Sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to close this. All right, so I have many things open here. This is the local leaders guide, which would be good for you. This was great for me when I first started doing reflections. Everything that I'm showing you is going to be on the website if it isn't already. Most of this is already on the website, but some things I have just added. I have been like trying to make all kinds of new stuff this year and really update the website and I would rather have too much information than not enough, because in the past we've not had great communication with this program. So since I took it on, I have been trying to like over communicate almost with everybody, just so people, you know,
have
whatever they need, you know, I want them to know that I'm here, I'm available for them. My email address, I'll give you that real quick too. I put it in the chat, but it's reflections@Georgia, spell out the whole word, PTA.org.
Okay.
So, okay, so the local leaders guide, it's basically the same every year, but they put out a new one every year with the new logo and all that stuff. But it has like the 5 steps you need to have a successful program. Number 5 you don't necessarily need, but the first 4 you definitely have to have. But it also has things like a checklist, a volunteer sign-up sheet, instructions for the judges, and like an event planning guide. And this leaders checklist, I love that. I still use that now because it keeps me, you know, it reminds me of what I need to be doing and when I need to be doing it. So here's a look at the checklist, and it just goes through all the steps and, you know, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And you just check it off as you go. And so it helps to kind of, you know, and if you get to something you're like, I don't really know what that is, just, you know, shoot me, you know, email and I can tell you. The first thing that it says always with reflections is register your program at National, which is pta.org/reflections. They want to know who's participating and the numbers so that they can come up with the reports that they have every year. So that's why they ask everybody to enroll in the program. It's you have plenty of time to do it if you haven't done it yet. You have from July, like in 2020, till the 1st of February in 2021. So you have plenty of time to do it. Sometimes in the fall, like August, September, the website gets overloaded with people going in to register their program and it crashes. So I tend to wait and do mine in like November or even December when, you know, we're on that Christmas break kind of thing. But so you have plenty of time to do that. If you need help doing that, I can walk you through it. It's pretty easy. They do ask, you know, your approximate number of students at the school, you know, the school's address and stuff, but you can get almost all of that stuff from the ladies at the front desk. So you can just ask them and they always can tell you, you know, where this or that is. Okay, that's the checklist, my fave. The next one is the student entry form. The forms are customizable for the most part for you guys to be able to use. And and they call it a packet, and I have it listed as a packet because it's more than one page. But so the first page is how to enter, and you can see up here in the yellow where you can customize it, put your name or however you plan to have your entries delivered to you, insert deadline, that kind of stuff. And then the abbreviated rules. And the only thing that's really different this year is that I have gone through and underlined stuff that's like really important. Like the video files, music, film, and dance cannot be longer than 5 minutes or 1,000 megabytes. And that the file formats have changed somewhat because the system that the National is using, where we upload to the student portal, they have changed that. And so now it only accepts 4 different kinds of files. And so in the past, if you've done reflections for a long time, you would have noticed that there were like 4 or 5 different kinds of formats you could use on each category, but that's not the case anymore. So for film or dance, or if they video their music entry, MP4 or AVI format. For music, if they don't film it, then MP3 or WAV format, which is that. But I tell everybody to strongly, air quotes, recommend MP3 and MP4 as the formats, because I don't know anyone who can't open an MP3 or an MP4 file on their computer. And so, you know, as long as you can open the entry, it can be judged. And sometimes folks can't open an AVI, and then they have to, you know, reformat the entry or whatever. And so they don't necessarily, and they can't necessarily get that to work. So I always tell my kids, and I tell everybody during training, MP3, MP4. I highly, highly recommend those 2 formats just because they're the easiest to open. And then you'll just, you know, just stuff that's really important I have underlined. Photography hasn't changed, same dimensions. Literature hasn't changed. Visual arts hasn't changed. 3D entries still cannot be larger than 18 inches by 18 inches by 18 inches. Now, if you get your student entry packet from the National website, you're not going to have that on there because National does not put in a size limitation. And that's because all of their entries are submitted digitally. So it doesn't matter how big it is because they're not having to deal with it anyway. So, but for our purposes, traveling entries bigger than that don't travel well. Even if they are packaged really well, they still tend not to make it from one place to another without some kind of damage to them. But I will, sorry, Sarah, I got distracted by your question. Everything I'm showing you is either on the website or it will be shortly, because I have added a bunch of new stuff lately. And I'll show you that as soon as I run through these forms real quick. But I just wanted to like go through the basics real quick with you guys. And then if that, you know, popped any questions in your head, you could go ahead and ask me. Or, you know, if you just think of something, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask me the question, okay? After that page, you will see that the official rules page is here, and special artist is still considered to be a division. That changed a few years ago, and they're still using it as a division. And then the third page is the actual student entry form. The top part, this gray box here, that would be filled out by you guys. And so you would put in your school PTA name or PTSA name, your 8-digit ID number, and your ID number is every PTA has an 8-digit ID number, but it might look like this. Like the state ID number, for example, is 50073. So when I'm communicating with National, I have to put 3 zeros in front of that number to make up the 8 digits. And so if you've seen your PTA number and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, then you don't worry, you do have an 8-digit number. They just don't type in the 4 zeros in front of it. And you don't have to do that on here either. The only time you really need those zeros in front of it is when you're communicating with National. Otherwise, it's fine. I know there's zeros in front of the number, whatever it is. Program chair would be you, your email, and your phone number. If you don't want to use your personal email, just make up one for this event. But make sure you check it, because we do need to be able to get in touch with you. The students need to be able to get in touch with you if they have questions or whatever. And then council, district, region. You will either have a council, a region, or an area. You're not going to have all three. So for example, if you're in Gwinnett, you would be area 1, district 12, and you would just put your area number in here under council. If you are in DeKalb County, then you would be either region 1 or 2, district 11. And that's how you would fill that in. If you don't know these, that's okay. As long as you put your school information, I can look it up and figure out where you are. You can even, like if you don't know your council, you can put in your county or whatever, but I can figure out where you are. Members, dues paid, insurance paid date, bylaws, approval date. Those are the things that, that help determine whether you're in good standing with the state or not. This information you should be able to get from your president or your treasurer, but if you can't figure it out or you can't find it, don't worry about it, because I do get this information on the monthly statistical report. And right now we're not real sure how things are gonna, you know, during our current situation, how that's gonna work out for this year. So don't worry about that stuff right there. Okay, then the student's information. When you get the entry, just make sure that this is legible. And if the parent doesn't want to put all of this information on there, that's okay. We just need at least one way to get in touch with them. So we either need the email, the phone number, or their address, something. Preferably email or phone number so that we can get in touch with them quicker, because once it gets to the state, if they win at the state, they do get an actual mailed invitation. So then I could just call them and ask them what their address is. Then the signatures, divisions, special artists again is included with division. The categories, again on here I listed the size limitation for 3D visual art. And then the must-haves, title of work and artist statement. Must have those two things. Title of work can be untitled if the student can't come up with a title, or it could be the theme, I Matter Because. So that's okay to use as a title, but there must be a title or it's an automatic disqualification. Details is the things like if you are dancing to a song, you know, what's the name of the song, who's it by? If it's, you know, Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake, you put that right there. Or how many words is in your poem, you know, 1,200, whatever. If you took a picture with your mom's iPhone 6, that's where you would put that. iPhone 6. Same thing if you used iPhone to make a film with, that's where you'd put that information. If it's visual art, then, you know, if it's a sculpture made out of clay, then that's where you would put that, or, you know, crayons, markers, whatever, you get the picture. Artist statement must be at least 10 words and no more than 100 words. Now, if it's a little over 100 words, that's okay. But you know, I can cut it off at 100 words and that's fine, but I can't add words to it. So if you see that their artist statement is something like, I love to dance, then they got to give you more, because it needs to be at least 10 words. Okay, next. That is that. Theme search, entry forms, same kind of thing, but the student is really responsible for getting this to me. The deadline is November 1st, as you see here, and then they mail it directly to the office, and the address is right here. They just put in their theme ideal, their information, and then their school name goes here, or here, excuse me. And it doesn't matter if they don't have all of this, because I can figure it out from their school. What I usually tell chairs is fill out those two forms with these boxes and then put them on your PTA website or PTSA website, so that it's available for folks. But I usually don't recommend you put anything else up there if you don't want it. But those two things are the minimum. This is the other page to the theme search. It just lists all the past theme searches. And so this year's theme search will be picking for the year 22-23. We always know at least 2 themes at the same time. So the current one is I Matter Because, and then next year's is I Will Change the World By. And then in March of 2021, they will announce the theme for 22-23. So we always know at least 2 themes at the same time. Okay, next. Okay, any questions on those 2? And again, if you have questions, something, you know, you want me to go over again or something, just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask. Okay, the poster or the flyer that National provides looks pretty much like last year's. They are using those same kind of bright, vivid colors with the theme up here, and then down on the bottom, it's got the place where you can put your information. This is the flyer that you can use for you know, your school or to advertise it on your website. There's also logos that you can use for Facebook and Facebook posts and Twitter posts and that kind of thing posted on the Georgia PTA website. Speaking of that, let's go there right this moment. Okay, so Georgia PTA website is georgiapta.org. And when you get to the website, on this front page up here on the bar, you'll see reflections. And there's 2 sections, reflections submission info and reflections winners. I do recommend that you go to the winners page, and this is why. You will see on here the virtual kind of celebrations that I created last year, since we did not get to do our normal kind of reflection celebration. And then for our national winners, we actually had 11 national winners last year. I created a sway, which is, if you haven't worked with those, it's kind of like a PowerPoint, but you can add audio and video to it so that they can click on the audio and listen to the musical piece, or click on the video and watch the students film or the students dance. And so that was for just the 11 winners at national. For everyone who won at the state last year, I created these videos on my YouTube channel, which is each category announced by category, so that all the students got to hear their name called out and know, you know, what they won and what place they were, that kind of thing. And then there's also a list right here as well, just so that they could be announced. I do have a YouTube channel, and it's this little purple flower, but if you just start typing in Georgia PTA reflections, anything, overview or whatever, you'll see this little purple flower pop up. That is my channel, and I'll show you, like, you can click on these and it'll take you to there. And then, oh no, we don't want to hear me talking, but then you can like subscribe or whatever to that channel, and then you can get, let's see if I can get, no, and then you can see the other videos that are on there. I also did some training videos last year. I have 2 Zoom training videos that are recorded that are on there. I have a little commercial that I did. I did like a little Facebook video commercial talking about I Matter Because, you know, and I did my little thing just to help promote the program. So because you're going to have to be creative this year for promoting and for celebrating and that kind of thing, because obviously it's not going to be a normal year again. But, you know, I'm asking everybody, please be flexible. Please keep in mind that, you know, this is one of the biggest programs that we do, if not the biggest program that PTA does. And so I do encourage everybody to still have a reflections program, even if, you know, your council is not really sure about what they're doing right now, because I know there are several councils out there who don't really have a board, and they don't really have folks on the board necessarily. So or there may not be a reflections chair, and so they're kind of going back and forth about whether they're going to have reflections or not have reflections. So please, if you're in that kind of environment, or if that's what's going on in your area, still have your program at your school. I will figure it out. We will do something to be able to have the program in Georgia, even if I have to take all the entries straight at the state, which that's my worst case scenario plan, by the way. So hopefully I won't have to do that, but I have, considered that as well, just in case. So this is where I went to is the reflection submission info. And on here, you'll see right to the right, if you are not getting the emails and the newsletters from the state, please sign up for it here, because you will get the updates and the newsletters. And I post my updates on this website and on our Facebook page. Every time I know something new, I will post it there. Or if something changes, I will post it there. So please, subscribe to it, check out the Facebook page, at least on a weekly basis, and see if there's been updates added. That way you're not missing any information. So on here, you will see, if you go down, there's click here for reflections trainings. If I have reflections training scheduled, you can sign up for them here. But then here, the reflections documents, and there is a bunch of info here. But also on this page, if you see something in yellow, you can just click on it and it will download straight to your computer. So this is the 2021 reflections calendar. And I'm just going to open that for you so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so this calendar I just created and put a whole bunch of stuff on there. So I put things like when you should be posting stuff to your website. I put in all the national deadlines. I put in the suggested deadlines. So for example, October 2020 is the local round deadline and review suggested dates. Friday, October 13th, the 16th is currently the date that I'm using, but it gives you a little leeway to be pushed out some. I do chair the program at my son's school. He's in high school, so that's where I'm currently at. So I do chair that program, and that's the date I'm using right now, but it can be pushed back if you need to. And usually I tell people how you figure out what your date is by your council. But if your council hasn't posted a date yet, or if you're in one of those situations where your council doesn't really have a calendar put out yet, then this is how you can look at it. My deadline to the council will always be posted. And right now mine is the 9th and 10th of December. So the council's deadline should then be about a month before that. So somewhere around the end of October or the first week of November. So then you can make your deadline at least a week from that deadline. So if you're assuming that Friday, October the 23rd is going to be your council's deadline at the earliest, then you're going to want to have your deadline at the latest be the 23rd of October. That way you can get your entries, situated and judged, depending on, if you're in middle school and high school, usually you don't need more than a week to get your entries to judges and get them back and that kind of stuff. But if you're in an elementary school, you might have a lot of entries, and so you may need 2 weeks. So then you can push it back, even further, like the 16th. So that just gives you a way of trying to figure out what your deadline should be. And then again, I have on here date may change depending on current events. And so it may get pushed back, and you'll see that on the Plan A, Plan B situation. Would you go away, please? Thank you. Go back. Thank you. Okay. So I have also put on here, here we go, using a checklist. No, that's not it. Okay, so I did make a Plan A, Plan B. This is one of the newer things that I have that's going to be posted shortly to the website. And so Plan A is what I'm hoping for. And that would be that we would proceed sort of semi-normally, meaning that the students would return face-to-face to school by the end of October. And then, but we're taking our cues from the schools, so depending on how that goes, we may or may not get that. And so that's where I've put in kind of those deadlines that I have listed on the calendar currently. Plan B would be if we do not get back into school until like the end of October or 1st of November, then we would be pushing all the deadlines back some. And so that's sort of where it came up with these two plans, was those kinds of things. This will be added again to the website shortly, so you'll be able to have it. If you want it like immediately, you can always email me and I will send you a copy of it. Same thing with any of the other stuff that may not be posted to the website yet. Let me see. So submission documents, you'll click on that and then the file opens and you'll see all of this. So the things that you need to move your entries from the local unit to council or region or area are, you have to have your local unit participation form and your reflections winners log filled out and completed for those two things. And then you take those with your entries to the next level or round. But the judging information is here, like the instructions for the judges, the judging scorecard is here, reflection celebration guide is here, the checklist is here that we talked about. And then rules and forms is the next file, and it's pretty much just what it says. The reflections rules, the student packet is on here. And then the rules for each category, the long rules for each category are on here. There is there's a zip drive on here somewhere that has all the rules on it if you wanted to just put that instead. Special artist division, that's just more information about the special artist division. In case someone is asking you, is my student, would he qualify or she qualify as a special artist entrant? So then they can go to this area to get more information. But the quickest way is to ask them, do they have a 504 plan in place with the school? Because students who are getting some kind of extra help, whether they're in a special needs class or if they're in IEP classes or IRR classes or ESOL classes, all of those will qualify as a special artist entrant. Now, just because a student qualifies as a special artist entrant doesn't mean they have to submit their entry as a special artist. They can still just do a regular old entry, but that's totally up to the student. Promotional materials, that's just what it says. Posters, there's the shortened version of the rules, tips for promoting, arts and education flyer in Spanish and English, that flyer that I pulled up for you in Spanish and English, the Facebook text that I was talking about, the Twitter or the logo for this year, all of that is under there. And then also I have put on there a sample of a student certificate for this year. Because I am probably one of the cheapest people you will ever meet. And so if I can get it for free or make it myself for very little money, I'm not going to pay for it. And so I have made this certificate and I give it to my students at the high school that I chair for. And I just fill it out on the computer and then I print it out on nice cardstock. And that's what I give to my students. Super new to this and I probably won't be the one to do it, but how does judging work at local level? Who does the judging? For your judges, I usually tell you to go to other schools. Either, like if you're in a middle school, go to the high school and ask teachers there, ask the literature teacher to judge your lit entries, ask the band director to judge your music entries. If your child takes dance, ask the dance teacher to judge dance. I used my church choir director one year to judge music entries. You can also use, if you have older children like high school or college who are dance or in the band, they can help you judge those entries as well. Because they know, what at that level, they know what it should look like. And then the rubric explains it pretty well. It's like the rubrics that the kids get at school for get this for you. It goes under here. It explains, oops, sorry. It explains like how many points they get for this or how many points they get for that. So let me just show you real quick. Come on, thank you. Okay, so you'll see on that first page, it goes into detail about what the judges are to look at and how they are to judge it. And so when you're giving your entries to somebody to judge, this is what you're going to give them, or these instructions with the scorecard that has the entries listed on it. And so up here would be your name, your email, and your phone number. So if your judge has a question, they can contact you. And then this is their instructions, and then the next page is the rubric, and so it tells them exactly how many points they get for this, how many points they get for that, you know, so it's easy for them to be able to judge it fairly well because they have those instructions. The judging scorecard that I was talking about, this is my favorite version. National has another version on their website that's vertical. I like the horizontal one just because it gives you more room to write. And so you would put the category here, like 7th grade literature. And then you would list all the entries, titles for 7th grade literature here. And then the judge would come in and score here, put the total points here. And then when you get them back, you just go through the total points and you know, the top 2 or the top highest points are the ones that are going to be your ones that are moving on to the next round. Now, if you have ones that tie, I ask my judges always if they have, some that are tying, like if they have 3 that are 40 points each, please star the 2 that they think are the best. That way, you can figure it out, or the judge will figure it out for you. If the judge doesn't do that, then the next thing you should look at is which one has the best theme. So, because that is the main thing that the entries are judged on, is the interpretation of theme. So, okay, any questions on all of that? Okay. Something else that I have that will be posted to the website soon is 12 tips for reflections during COVID. The first one, of course, is be flexible. I am posting these tips about every 10 days on our Facebook page, but I am going to, I do have the whole list, or I am having them publish the whole list on the website, so that if you need help or suggestions on how to do things, go to the website, see how I did the virtual celebrations in the past. See, look at the tips as to what are good ideas on how to promote, or, other things, and check out other people's websites. I always look at other states' websites and other schools' websites and just see, is there something they're doing or some way that they put it that I really like? And then I will totally steal that and use it for my own self. And, most people don't care if you do that. The whole point of this program, is to celebrate the kids, and however you can do that, or however you can get your information out there, that is going to be the most helpful. So go to other websites, look and see what they do, get their email them and say, hey, how do you, do this, or how do you do that? People will talk. Usually chairs are very open and will talk to you about their program and how they handle stuff. Like if you have a small budget and you're not sure how to do a celebration on your small budget, I've been at schools with tiny budgets. I've been at schools with a little bit bigger budgets. I've seen schools that have budgets, I think the biggest I've seen is like $800, which to me is kind of crazy high, but whatever. If they have those kinds of funds, great. That's fantastic if they can celebrate the kids that way. I just don't have that at my school. And so I have, some schools I know don't have a budget for reflections actually. And so I do have, I can give you suggestions or tips on how to do a program if you have no money for reflections. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Just email me and ask me if you want me to call you, like if you think it's going to be a longer conversation than just a couple of emails, then put your phone number in and a good time to call you, and I will call you and I can walk you through whatever. Extra info and tips. Right now we have the plan. Oh, there they are. Plan A and B, how the judges pick the winners, national PTA's registration, student entry portal instructions. So when you register your program at National, this is where you're going to go to here. Like deadline is February 1st. Register here, go here, click on register my PTA, and then you put in the number. This walks you through what you need to do. When you are finished registering, the only thing you're going to get is this. Thank you. Create your own survey. They used to give you like a screen that said, thank you for registering your program. But this year I didn't see that. All I got was this and then the Survey Monkey thing. So don't be alarmed if you don't get something that says, you know, congratulations, you're now registered with National, because you might not see anything like that. You should only see this if it worked. If you don't get to this after you click submit, then something went wrong and you'll have to do it again, but it usually will take you back to the beginning if that is the case. And so that's how you register online. And then if you want to use the student entry portal and start putting your entries in there, this is the information on how to do that. In Georgia, we are not required to use the student entry portal for entries. So you don't have to do that. Future chairs may require it. We just haven't so far. It's been around and PTA has been using it for a little less than 10 years, but I know not all states use it. Some states are very strict about it and you have to put all your entries in the student portal and this and that, but Georgia, we just haven't done that. So not a requirement, but if you want to look at it and check it out and see what you think, be my guest. By all means, please do so. Okay, let me get rid of this again. Okay, the plan A and B, we went over. How do judges pick the winners? That is more information for the students really, but you can put it on your website if you want as something they could click on to get extra information. It's just a sheet about, you know, how to help the kids like go through their writing their artist statement and interpreting the theme, that kind of thing. Okay, excuse me, go away. And there's the calendar. I was looking for, I don't think it's this, sorry. I'm looking for a specific thing and I don't see it yet. There's a, yeah, it's not here yet. There's an information page that I did. Again, it's more information for the kids than anything else, but you can also post that on your website if you want. And it goes through, you know, what makes a good entry. Did you answer these questions? It even gives examples of, is this a good artist statement or is this an artist statement that needs more work, kind of thing, so that it shows the kids this is what they need. This is just info about the theme search and about how many entries we are allowed to send from state to national and the divisions that we use and the differences between 2D visual art and 3D visual art. National does not split those up. At Georgia, we do, at the state level, we do split those two categories. The only reason I do that is so we can award more awards to more students. So I encourage everybody to do that at the local level, at the council level, but it is your prerogative, it's your program. If you don't want to split those up, totally up to you. You can judge them together or against each other. But you can split them up if you want to, just to give out more awards. But national does not. So typically you won't see a 3D entry as a national division entrant, just because a lot of times 2Ds are the ones that get picked more than the 3D to go on to the national level. So I just wanted to explain that with this. Okay, that's the calendar. I think that's all that. Okay. If you scroll down on here, you'll see the celebration guide. That's part of the checklist that will help you when you're planning your program. The judges guidelines, the scorecard, that's the same thing that was up there. Submitting to state and council, you will complete these 2 forms again and bring those with you to the next level if it's council or area or region, or if you are the council chair, then you would bring it to local PTA, state PTA, which is me. Theme search, that one's here. And then the last part is the Spanish form for the theme search. But most of the forms that are listed up here, it will give you the English version and the Spanish version. If there's one that doesn't have the Spanish version and you need that, just let me know because I can get that for you. Okay, any questions about the website? Any questions about any of it? COVID questions? Anything else you want to ask about?
I see you're recording it.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you'll send us a link to the recording just in case we forget something?
So they should be putting the links. Let me see if it's on the homepage. They're supposed to be putting the links to the recordings on the homepage. And I'm not sure if, because we had all of these, it's not up here yet, I don't think, because we did all of these trainings in the last couple of weeks. And so they're compiling all of these videos and they're going to post it. But I post all of mine to my YouTube channel. So a lot of times things will be on my YouTube channel way faster than on the website. We do have a company that does a better job than the old company that we had getting things on here fairly quickly. But I will, if I do something, make something, a video or whatever, I stick it immediately on my YouTube channel. So like this tonight, when I get finished with this, I will upload it to my YouTube channel. So there, so it's available for everybody to see. So, and let me see, I'm trying to find, but yeah, they are eventually going to put them all here. Just, I don't think right now they have all of them compiled, but here is the Facebook link here on the front page to check out our Facebook page. Again, I put a lot of my updates and stuff there. But they're, and I do post it here. So like on this scrolling part, if it's something really important, I will put it here. I'm trying to see if they put any of the, sometimes they put the reflection stuff here. Yeah, so it may be, I don't think it's under that though. I think that was the, yeah, that was this. So they don't have the videos up here yet, but they are coming because they did them for all of the board members. So like president, treasurer, secretary, VPs, all of that. They have training videos coming in secretary, treasurer, and reflections as well. But so my YouTube channel, I will have my stuff there immediately. And again, if you missed it in the beginning when I was talking about this little purple flower, that's my YouTube channel. But if you just start typing in like Georgia PTA, the abbreviated like overview, then this stuff will pop up and you'll see that it's my channel. Actually, let's see here. Go here, do this. Okay, YouTube. Let me just show you real quick so you can see it. Please disregard my child's stuff that pops up. Georgia PTA. Whoops. Okay. There you go. So these little boxes, those are mine. And so then you click on that and it will take you to my channel, and then you can see the other videos that are posted there. aren't that. But it's that little purple flower. Any questions, guys?
No, you've been very informative. Thank you.
I talk really fast and I want to leave time for questions. So
I've got one on the deadlines. I know we're the only PTA in the county.
Uh-huh.
How do we find out who is the council region or area, what their deadline is for who we send it on to?
Are you Forsyth?
No, I'm down in Effingham.
Oh, okay. In Effingham?
I'm part of District 6.
Oh, okay.
But
You're Savannah Chatham then.
okay.
And I know right now they've got some stuff going, but they're figuring out.
We're in school. We're back in school and everything.
No,
So
I mean like their board members. I think they're people that are signing out and some new people coming on or whatever. So, but I know they are, getting all that straightened out. But yeah, you are Savannah Chatham for sure.
Okay. So I was trying to figure out how do I know what the due dates are?
Yeah, and again, if they don't have it posted yet, just kind of assume that it's going to be somewhere around end of October, 1st of November. And that's if we're going by plan A. If we end up having to go by plan B, then it will be later than that. So, but thank you, Robin. So it'll be pushed back and then it'll be like end of November probably or 1st of December before they have a due date. And so you may, if you want to if you're going to get your actual entries, I have been suggesting that when you collect your entries and you bring them to your house, that you leave them in your garage or sitting on your porch if it's covered for a couple of days, just to air out, just to, err on the side of caution. Don't spray anything with Lysol, but, just in case. If you don't feel
they won't survive down here.
yeah, that's true. If you have a lot of humidity. If you don't feel comfortable taking actual entries, you can do virtual ones through like a Google form. We have lots of folks who are doing that. National has suggested that we have available both so that whatever people want to, feel comfortable with, that they can do. Some folks might not feel comfortable doing the Google forms, or some people might not feel comfortable, taking the actual entries. So whichever you're comfortable with, do that. If you have questions about how to do either one, let me know. My email is reflections@Georgia, spell out the whole word, PTA.org. And you can always email me if you have a question or a problem or you need something. What else? I'm trying to think. Anything else before I let y'all go? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening and listening to me ramble on. Again, if you ever need anything, please let me know. If you're having trouble getting something off the website, shoot me an email and I will email it to you directly. As you could tell, I can talk about reflections all day, so I don't mind at all. If you need me to call you versus, doing the email thing, put your phone number in there and I will give you a call. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Have a good night, and I will see you next time. And don't forget to watch for updates on the website and Facebook. Thank you.